Hi, and welcome back to another deck tech. I know, I have another Final Fantasy deck. I just enjoy this set so much, right? Just leave me alone. I I have other deck ideas coming in, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna sprinkle here and there my Final Fantasy deck just because I enjoy them so much. I also have a special reason for that, and that is because one of my friends recently got back to Magic because of the Final Fantasy set, and he even bought the Final Fantasy X precon. But for some reason, he doesn't really enjoy it as much. I think it's like a matter of flavor or gameplay to him, but there's something missing for him for his own enjoyment. And I really wanted to build this deck for a long time, so I did it using my own special brew, which I'm going to showcase today. And I hope it also gives him some ideas on how to improve his own precon and figure out what he doesn't exactly like about it, because it'd be a shame to just resume playing a deck you don't fully enjoy. So yeah, let's just get to it. So today's star is Tidus Yuna's Guardian. I decided to build this deck as a +1/+1 counter deck because to me it felt more compelling than what the precon was trying to go for, because it was trying too many things at once. And I just extremely love the idea of +1/+1 counters with this card specifically, because he's actually really good to just move a counter from a creature that has some to a creature that has none, and then easily trigger the cheer ability. This card is extremely good. And if we take a quick look at the deck list, you're gonna see there's most of the cards from the precon. I didn't stray too far from it because I wanted to still keep the Final Fantasy vibe to it. There's even a lot of cards from the main set as well. So this kind of feels, because this is a homebrew deck, but at this point it kind of feels more like an upgrade of the precon itself. But yeah, there's a lot of +1/+1 counter synergies. There's just throughout Magic in general, there's a lot of support for that. So it wasn't too difficult to find some extremely good stuff. But yeah, let's just get to it. For our ramp options, we have some extremely explosive stuff, because most of them will give you more value the more counter there's on it. We also have some counter-based card advantage, and what I mean by that is effects that trigger whenever you put a 1/1 counter on a creature, or whenever a creature with counters on it deals combat damage to an opponent. We have some normal card draw, and I did add some proliferation effects to it because we are a counters deck. We also have some target removal like Requisition Raid and Collective Effort that are not only great to take out some singular pieces, but they can also pump your whole board. Protection magic to protect some of your pieces, and those shield counters can also be proliferated. And we have Oran and Waka, who are not only extremely flavorful, but they have some great removal as well as 1/1 counter synergies. We also have obviously some instant speed interaction, and we have a huge variety of it, from like destroying stuff, exiling creatures, spinning cards back into the deck, counter spells. Why do I have Arena's counter spell? I'm confused. And some proliferation and phasing. Like, those interactions are not only extremely good, but they vary a lot in utility, which is really nice. We also have some one-sided board wipes and mass protections. Those are amazing. Like Damning Verdict and Wave Goodbye are just telling your opponent, nah, I just want my creatures on the board. Or Inspiring Call and Mutational Advantage that will not only protect your whole board, like one of them will make you draw cards, the other one will make you proliferate, and also a fog. Those cards are just insanely good. We also have some cards that will give keywords to creatures with counters on them. And it ranges from Trample, Reach, Double Strike, Flying, and Unblockable. Like, those are some of the best finishers you can get. We also have some repeatable proliferation effects, like Tromel, that also give counters to non-token creatures entering. Dreamtide Well whenever a player casts their second spell each turn. Grateful Apparition on combat damage to a player or planeswalker. Inexorable Tie whenever you cast a spell. And Lulu is just extremely messed up. As long as you have mana, you can do it as many times as you want. We also have our counter givers. I'm not going to go over them individually because there's a lot of text collectively. Like, most of them are going to just buff up your entire board. We have a couple specific ones, like Master Simor will buff a creature individually, Chasm Skulker and Kimari will buff themselves up. But like, mostly all of them will just buff your entire board. and they are just great cards to get your engine going. We also have some counter matters, like Hardened Scales, Zimone, and the Earth Crystal are gonna increase the amount of counters you get whenever you put them on creatures. Resourceful Defense to make sure we don't lose our counters, and Together Forever to make sure we don't lose our creatures. And that was it for the whole deck. If we take a look at some lands, there's nothing fancy as usual. It's mostly cheap stuff. The only interesting ones are the utility lands, like Nesting Ground to move counters around, Cards Bastion to proliferate, Gavany Township to pump your board, and Tyrite Sanctum is just a funny one because you can proliferate that god counter. And that's the whole deck, man. I enjoy this deck so much. I didn't buy the precon. It was way too expensive for me, but I was lucky enough to buy most of the precon's cards as singles for pretty cheap. So it was really cool because I really wanted to build this deck. And the way it's built, like, it's actually not too bad because you have a lot of ways on turn 2 to make it just active on turn 3, which is insane. But yeah, that's the whole deck list. And as usual, my name was Mika, and there's going to be a playlist on your screen with all the other deck techs I've done so far. And until then, we're going to see each other in the next video.